Alright guys, we're going to talk about the soil structure. So I'm digging up our no-dig garden bed right now, and I am looking at the layers of this bed for the first time that has not been tilled in 3 years. It's a 5-year-old bed. We started with a 50-50 blend of compost and topsoil blend that we got from a organic composter near Southeast Philly. But this is what we are looking for here. We can see the top is going to be the dark layer of the most recently added compost, and organic matter is going to have the most organic matter in there. But if you can look at all of the pores in the soil, this is why we don't till, and this is why we don't fork. Forking is okay in some circumstances, but if you start off, especially with a raised bed, and you're adding in really good soil structure to start out with, you really want the life to start taking over and making this a complex network of holes. The big ones are probably earthworms. Those are called macropores. And these small ones, if you notice, there's lots of little small ones in here. This is all from other little creatures and root structures that have dove down into the ground, and that's why we don't pull our roots either. So part of no-till is actually not pulling roots. This is another piece that came out of the same chunk, and you can see how many holes are in this structure. And this is only about 4 or 5 inches down. We have a stone. But what these pores allow are infiltration of nutrients, roots, water. So when you talk about surface area and water filtration, water penetration, not filtration, water penetration. If you're going to talk about water penetration, the macropores, obviously it's really easy to see that, yeah, you got an earthworm hole, you're going to have a lot of water that can go down into that structure. But when you're looking at these micropores, and those are caused from other insects that are smaller, but also from roots that are decaying. We're digging up our bed and actually extending it and rebuilding the walls right now. That's what this is coming from. But when you're talking about water infiltration, absorbing water and holding moisture and allowing air down into the system, that's one of the most important parts of no-till, is that you are able to achieve the soil structure, which is held together from aggregates made from exudates and biology. The biology and the root exudates are holding all of this soil together and hold all of these pores in place. And these pores allow water infiltration. When you have a really heavy storm, or when you even have a light storm, you allow all of that water to infiltrate deep down into the soil system, so that it gets deep down where the water is not going to be lost to drying out from the sun and other problems that are going to get. But this is exactly the structure you're looking for, and this is a lot of good root exudates, and this is a crumbly soil that holds together. It's full of pores, and this is an amazing soil structure that you're looking to build, and this is done through no-till. And no-till is part of one of the organic principles that is really important. And you're talking about all of the pore structure and the exudate structure and the roots being able to dive down and get air as well. The other thing about micropores, if you do some research into micropores is really interesting because it allows air and the surface area of water penetration goes up almost exponentially when you have a really good micropore structure. So just thought that was really interesting, and hope you guys are going to be taking some valuable from this information. But again, we had another video here where we are creating some new bed, extending our beds here, with a double dig, where we're simply penetrating down, flipping it over, adding some really rich compost, organic material, rich material in there, turning it over again, getting that organic material down into the system. And that's going to start our base for our now no-till, which is we're never going to mess with this structure again, and we're going to allow the biology to form a really, really, really beautiful structure that will allow our plants to optimize their growth. And this is the structure that we're dealing with underneath of our topsoil and our subsoil underneath of that, which is mostly clay. This is actually a pretty good, this is right underneath our top. This is our topsoil right here. This is our subsoil underneath of our topsoil layer. But just something I want to share with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Follow on for more tips. We're going to be following our entire grow out this year. We've got about 28 crops planned for our, this is just a backyard garden, feeding our family and growing amazing, organic, biologically optimized plants. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next one.